of time. I think we have ample to talk about, and we can get looks like we can get a couple of the minutes done and off our plate maybe. So anyway, so let me formally call to order. I had said, I don't know if you had joined in yet, Karen. Oh yeah, you were in when I said that Sean had texted me in the wee hours of the morning saying he was unable to attend. Have not heard from Kareem. I did get email from our director letting me know he might be delayed. He's got a court hearing based upon an animal cruelty case from eons ago, so that was going to tie him up, and he'll join when he's free. So with that, formally, I will call the meeting to order and ask if we have any additions or deletions to the agenda. Hearing none. Oh,
Chair?
sorry. Yes, please. Please, yes.
I'd like to request that item number 5 be moved forward before executive session.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
We can do that. We can move that to number 3A. So, all right. So with that, call our attention to the minutes of November 7th. We have the right parties in the meeting to be able to approve those should you desire.
I'll make a motion to
Frank.
approve the meet. Go ahead, Frank, Chief Frank.
Make a
Right,
motion
Frank,
motion to approve.
Second
Thank
that
you.
motion.
Second by Karen. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Such an eager bunch. So for the record, we'll bring our attention to the minutes of December 12th, and we do not have the requisite folks. We only have 2 of us that were in that meeting. So my apology, Vega. We'll have to punt those to the next meeting. And then looking at the meeting minutes of December 19th, we do have, there were 4 people in attendance. 3 of us are on this meeting, so we can take action should you choose.
All you.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
And I
From
bet I know who will
December
second.
19th.
There we go. Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Wonderful. Thank you. We get a couple of those off. Then we will draw our attention now to what's been moved to 3A, procedural consistency. And Chief, I yield the floor to you.
Only because, again, it's relevant to today's cases, and that's why I brought it up. Something that I've been examining over the last couple of cases is making sure that we treat all officers consistently across the board when we examine these cases. I do think currently as it exists, there is some inconsistency between how we are treating agency heads and how we are treating officers. I do understand that as agency heads, there's an increased expectation for behavior. On the other hand, I think that things like the code of conduct and professional regulations extend across the board evenly for all officers, regardless of whether you hold a leadership position or not. Specifically, what I'm addressing is the fact that in all of our cases outside of category C, the investigator who conducts the investigation is not present and does not have the opportunity to present sidebar conversations regarding their positions, their thoughts, the approach on the investigation. We receive a packet, we review it. If we have questions, we send that back to the investigator or to the agency head for information, then it comes forward. When it comes to category C, though, for agency heads, we receive a direct presentation, almost like a prosecutor, from the investigator coming forward. I'll use Ingrid Jonas because she was at that time the council investigator, comes forward when we have a category C. We don't look at the packet itself alone. The investigator then comes in and kind of lays out the process for us. I do think that there is some procedural inconsistency there. If we're okay with that as a group, then fine. But let's acknowledge it if that is the case. If we are going to say that there is, because you're an agency head, there's a different expectation and we want the investigator to do a direct presentation, then that's okay. But if we're also then saying if somebody else is a lieutenant or a captain or a major, it's not a category C, that the investigator doesn't get to come and do a direct presentation, we need to publicly acknowledge we're going to treat those cases differently, or we need to be consistent across the board. Does that make sense?
I think it makes perfect sense. And I appreciate you bringing it up. And I think, my desire as the chair would be that we have consistency. And I think that, albeit it may be difficult, I mean, we have luxury, I guess. I mean, now we have Vegger on staff, and Vegger is now kind of the staff person assigned to our meetings. I think my position would be, and I welcome additional comment, is to have a desk review of a case, have a paperwork review. As we do with all cases. So if it happens to be an executive level, an investigation of an executive, and Vagar has done the investigation, he'll submit a report. We'll review that report. And I think that we should take it on face value and treat it like we would anything else. I don't recall that we have ever, in a non-executive case, asked the investigator to come in and answer questions or present to us. I don't ever recall that happening. So I think, and I'm absolutely in agreement, I think there should be consistency here. Now, if we see the need to ask questions or to drill deeper, historically, what we've done in an agency investigation, we've sent those questions back through council staff. We've gotten an answer, and that answer has again come back in written format. So I think, albeit might be, I don't know if it'd be difficult. We'll just have to ask Vegger to, to respect that we're doing a paper review. If that works for everybody here. Karen, I think you started to speak, and then I rudely spoke over you.
Well, no, I agree. Consistency would be the priority for me. So, the process that you just laid out, Trevor, makes perfect sense to me. Jen, I wonder if I agree with you, just being consistent, but also really clear about that process, I think is really important. And the question in my mind is, do we hold leaders to a higher standard? The Act 56 gives us ways to address problematic behavior by leaders. But I'm wondering if we should have a different pathway, a different process when we're talking about leaders, and how we would delineate which leaders.
I guess for me, when I look at it, the code of conduct is the code of conduct. Morality is morality. I don't care if you're in my department, if you're a police officer, if you're the school resource officer, if you're the school crossing guard, if you're the chief, you're the captain, lieutenant. This is the code of conduct that we've all sworn to follow. It doesn't say if you're a leader that you like, oh, well, the chief has to follow this, but if you're a major, don't worry about it. This doesn't apply to you. I think that in some ways we are actually undermining our role as professional regulations by saying, well, we're going to bring in a prosecutor investigator because, well, if the chief does this and this is really bad. No matter who you are, this is our standard, and every single police officer has to meet that standard.
Rises to that.
You are.
Yeah.
As for penalty, I will say there is an increased penalty in simply by being an agency head because of what I would call a direct report to professional regulations of criminal justice council. If my officers engage in activity that maybe doesn't rise to Act 56 level, we handle that in-house. Anything that I do as a police chief immediately then rises to the level of the council. So I think there is a certain level of, we've acknowledged that we are going to hold chiefs and agency heads to a higher standard just by the creation of Category C. But I don't care who you are as a cop. Code of conduct is code of conduct. Morality is morality. Everyone's responsible equivalently. But I do think that by having a prosecutor directly present to this board creates an unfair process that I think might even be actionable and arguable by those being held accountable down the road.
Well, and when I look at it as the potential defensibility of our action, let's say, nobody has, our action goes to the council. Well, there has been one case appealed to the Supreme Court now on just procedure, not our actual decision-making process, but it's executive session. We're taking actions in executive session. Those records are confidential by statute, but there could be the day and the time when someone that we pass judgment against, files with a court. Maybe one of our cases goes to a court of appeals. Maybe it makes it to the Vermont Supreme Court. We never know, but we are making judgment only upon the written record. And if we're now taking a verbal testimony because it was an executive and we have the luxury of having the investigator with us, we take verbal testimony. There's no record of that. We're not recording executive session. We don't have a document that we can go back to and say, oh, here's information that we had at our disposal. It's going to be subject to our memories. And I do think, Chief, that there is the potential to argue disparate treatment. I agree with you. A cop is a cop is a cop for professional regulation. And I think we need to look at it through the same lens. I mean, sure, do we say that, chiefs, because of their position, sheriffs should know? I mean, that's going to be potentially part of our discussion, I guess. But we look at the statute doesn't differentiate that here's the rules for line officers and here's the rules for executives. The only thing it differentiates is that the council investigates executives. So.
And I want to be clear, this is nothing, I just want to make sure, Vagar, this is not relative to you or you being in this position. It was more as I started to examine, just from a recusal standpoint and from our ethics standpoint and trying to make sure that we are procedurally fair. I think there does become a challenge when you have the investigator who does the investigation and then they're present in the meeting and they are there's a reason that I recuse myself when I do an investigation on a case of an officer. I don't participate in those discussions. Why is it now different because it's a chief or a sheriff or whoever it happens to be?
I take offense.
We'll try harder. Okay, so that being the case then, going forward, and Vagar is here with us, so he's been privy to this discussion, is that when we do discuss cases in executive session, if they are cases where we've had the council investigator conduct that investigation and that investigator happens to be present during executive session, then it would just be my request that our review is solely of the submitted materials.
Sounds good.
Right. Very good. Kareem, welcome.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Now, I don't know, I might take chair prerogative just to clean up a looming piece of business here and circle back to minutes. Kareem, did you have the opportunity to review the minutes of December 12th? Could you be in a position to vote on those? If not, we can do it next time.
Yes. No.
Okay.
I reviewed them at work last night. Yes, as well with the cases.
So going back to that, Chief, if you're okay with it, it looks like the chief, myself, Kareem, were present during that meeting. So Chief Kareem, if one of you wants to circle back and make a motion on those December 12th minutes, we could clear the plate for Vagar today.
Yeah, I
Motion
can
to
make a
approve.
motion to. Oh,
Go ahead,
I will
Kareem.
second Kareem's motion.
Okay, very good. Do we have any discussion
All right.
on those minutes of December 12th? Hearing none. All in favor?
aye.
Thank you. Great. Vagar, we can check that box. We're caught up. Okay, with that then, I would
I
seek
can't.
a
I can't
motion.
talk right now. I'll be busy. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
No,
So
I'm
with
sorry. That wasn't to you. That was for my staff. Sorry about that. I'm multitasking, and you know how I do, Trevor. I'm telling people I can't. I'll be busy for a bit. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. Anyway, I'm seeking a motion to go into executive session. Yep.
Stand by.
Go ahead, Chief.
Prior to that, this notice is my official advisement to the PRS Board per Vermont Section 1.3 VSA Chapter 31. Under the State Code of Ethics, I must recuse myself from case 20245 Frank 9 Union due to a conflict of interest involving the alleged offending officer.
No issues with any other cases.
I see where you're going. I do not believe that there is
That's-
a need to recuse.
That's just all I want to hear. That's it. Yep. I don't see an issue. Just wanted to hear it from you. So with that, Karen, I would
I'm ready.
look for that motion.
Okay, here we go. I move to enter executive session to discuss pending Act 56 unprofessional conduct complaints and investigations, which are by law confidential and may result in disciplinary sanctions imposed on the subject officer's certification, and to seek legal advice related to such complaints and investigations, the premature general public knowledge of which would clearly place the subcommittee and the subject officer at a substantial disadvantage. I'm including in this motion an invitation for Vagar Bowe to join us from the Academy and for the Executive Director of the Academy to join us should he become available. I'm also noting that Chief Frank is going to recuse herself from discussion of one of the cases, and I'm really hoping, Vagar, that you captured the number because I did not.
That's okay. I have it as well.
Okay, great.
Very good. So we have a
Thank you.
second on that motion. Thank you, Chief. Do we have a preference, Chief, if we take that conflict case first or last?
Whatever works best for you.
Let's take it first. I will send you a text when we're completed, and then you can join executive session. So with that, do we have any discussion on the motion to go into executive session? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Great. We will see everyone but the chief there, and I will text the chief when we're completed that conflict case.
I just sent Kareem a text. He's in the wrong meeting.
Yeah. Did you send him a text beyond the Teams chat or just the Teams chat?
I did it in the meeting chat that he was in.
The Teams. Okay. Yeah.
Can I recommend for consideration that rather than creating two separate meetings, we utilize the breakout rooms in Teams? That would allow us to have just one meeting. And when we went into executive session, we could create a breakout room that involved all of us folks go to a breakout room, have your executive session, and then return back across.
You could suggest that.
I didn't know
never
Teams.
used that. I
I
didn't
didn't
use
know
that
Teams
feature.
had breakout rooms.
Team has breakout rooms, and we use it at court. So that's how all of traffic court is. We meet on Teams. We have this session, and when I want to speak to a somebody, the defendant in my traffic ticket, they put me and that person in a breakout room. We have a discussion. When we're ready, we come back and we join the judge and everybody else. That would allow us to have one meeting, so we don't have to guess, are we in executive, are we in public, whatever it happens to be. It would also allow, if there's somebody who had to recuse themselves for one case, you could say, all right, we're going to take these three people, put them in the breakout room to talk about that case, and then they could come back and and go back to the original meeting. So I don't know if it'd make it easier. If this is working with the two meetings, then don't fix it if it's not broke. But I did want to say that we have Teams has some things that we could utilize that would make it easier. The person who arranges the meeting has the ability to put people into breakout rooms. Like I couldn't do it for us. But I think Vagar created the meeting. He could put people into breakout rooms, and then it'd just be one session, one meeting. So something worth looking at.
I'll just stop the recording and move to breakout room, and that works for me. So.
And you can
Why
only
not?
go to the breakout room if you're invited?
Correct.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, Vagar, in your spare time, if you can take a look at that, if it works, we can certainly give it a try.
Instructions are in the
Go
chat.
for it. Thank you.
Okay. Great. Kareem, you're back. If you can just let me know by voice that you can hear.
Yes.
And-
I am
Wonderful.
there, yes.
Good. Okay. Then let's take care of making notations of items that were addressed in executive session. So for case number
Yeah.
2020 W1E, I would make a motion for a category C with guidance to attempt a stipulated agreement.
I'll second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
I
Aye, that's unanimous. Thank you. Case number 20249P1Q. I would make a motion for a finding of a category C with guidance on potential stipulated agreement.
I'll second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Case number
You going here? You going there?
Case 20246H8A. But just note that we're going to, we did not have adequate time to review that case. We're going to bring that back at another meeting. Case 20248Z7P would make a motion of a no finding.
I'll second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The case number 20245F9U would make a motion of no finding.
I'll second.
Okay. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That's an aye from Trevor, Karen, and Kareem, and an abstain from Chief Frank. Okay, that concludes the business that was addressed in executive session. Seeing no one on from the public, we will move forward to open discussion. Item, just to circle back on, I don't know that we can even resolve it today. I just wanted to bring it back forward, and that is we had discussed the potential of looking at new meeting times. Sean isn't with us, so I don't know really how to discuss that. He's the one that seems to have some pretty tight parameters, and I'm not sure that his availability is going to work. I guess I'm gonna circle back to him personally, one-on-one, and ask him really what his parameters are. Basically, what I was hearing from him is that it would have to be after the school day, which would put it 2 or even 2:30. And we have a 2-hour meeting, that pushes us to the end of the day. And we're very reliant on Academy staff for this meeting. And for me, certainly the beginning of the day is far better than the end of the day. I've built my life around Thursdays, every other Thursday. Not that I couldn't redo that, but my calendar going out eons, has that space available. So I don't know, any thoughts on meeting times? Do we want to?
For what it's worth, Sean is going to be here in person tomorrow. He's meeting with Lisa. So it'll be the first time for me to actually meet him in person, so I can have a discussion with him about that, or any suggested other meeting times.
Yeah.
And with that caveat that everyone else's schedule really works for mornings, and see where we could maybe come to some agreement.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't want to lose Sean as a committee member. I mean, his input is very valuable. His insight is extremely valuable, but I don't know if the time is going to work for him. So yeah, Chris, I think if we can, again, not that I want to keep punting this, but if we could just put that off, have you have the in-person discussion with Sean about scheduling, about his availability, and then we'll circle back and see what we can do to wrap around that.
Do that.
Okay, good. Anything else from others?
Just want to clarify that our next meeting date is February 6th. We have a 2-week gap until the next meeting.
See any reason to have problems on the 6th? So, yep, that's what I have as well.
I won't, I have a board meeting that morning, so I will not be able to attend the meeting.
Oh, that's right. And we did not adjust that meeting. Now, I guess we haven't adjusted this year, Karen. And if we continue with Thursdays, is there the benefit of, if that meeting were an 8:30 to 10, would you be able to make it?
Yes.
And does that really bind you in putting us up against your board meeting, or?
Oh, no, I'm so used to back-to-back meetings and staring
Yeah,
into
okay.
this little screen for hours and hours and hours on end. No problem.
And who needs a coffee or a rest break in between, right? Just bookend them right together.
Just keep going.
Okay. So Chris, if I wanted to adjust that meeting, we need 48 hours for the public notice. We need 48 hours.
Yeah.
Minimum. Well, while we're on the line then, are folks here available for 8:30 to 10 instead of 10 to noon on that day? Jen is. I certainly am. Kareem?
I should be okay. I will be leaving my night job. I get up around like 8:15, so I should be able to make it.
All right, then why don't we make that a plan then? Why don't we reschedule that meeting for 8:30 to 10? And Vega, for just as an FYI, Karen has, what is it, quarterly meetings or every other month, Karen?
Every other month.
Every other
And
month.
I can say, Vigor, how about if I send you the dates of our board meetings? It's always it's the first Thursday of every month, but it's every other month. So February,
That's-
April, June.
So let's at this
So
point,
for
Karen,
right now.
let's just reschedule February and then hold on the rest until Chris has his
Okay.
discussion with Sean to see if we're looking at a much more global reschedule.
Yeah.
And if not, if we stay with this first and third Thursday, then I'm very much in favor of continuing with the adjustment for your board meeting day.
And just FYI, we're looking at adjusting the time of our board meetings to make it a late afternoon meeting. If it's typical of my board, that change will take around 7 years. So
Very good.
I'll probably be long dead by the time they get to it.
Stop. Just retired, not dead. Retired.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. Anything further?
I just
Hearing
wanted to
none.
make one comment. I just wanted to, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just wanted to apologize, just me not, usually I'm on these calls, I'm not able to be seen. I'm always multitasking. I just wanted to say I appreciate you guys, and I really apologize that you guys can't see my beautiful face all the time.
Well,
so I just wanted to say that, and
I think
I'm
what you
always
need to do-
busy, and I'm never stationary, so it's just, and this happens that way, and I really do apologize for that. I wanted you guys to know that.
No, Kareem, your presence, whether it be visual, audio, any presence we will take, and we appreciate that. Although I do think maybe you can work with Chief Frank, because I know there's a way to import your picture so that when you have your camera turned off, we see instead of just seeing your initials, we'll see your beautiful face there, Kareem.
I don't know if you realize when I first hopped on, I went on I have like 5 emails that I'm managing right now, but one of my emails have me holding a big teddy bear. I don't know if you guys
There
caught
you
that
go.
one.
No.
I don't know if you've seen that earlier. Okay, you missed it. All right. You missed it.
Okay. I make a motion. We work with Kareem to get his picture so we can look at his static face.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn. I'll second it, whatever you want me to do.
Okay. There we go. We've got a motion and a second. Bigger, you figure out who that was. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. And Chris, again, publicly, I put out the email, but thank you for representing at that White House briefing. I'm sorry it wasn't in person.
Yeah, me too. It was good. It was interesting, and the feds are going to join it now as well, so it'll be a little bit more.
Good. Appreciate it.
Chris,
Appreciate all the work.
2 minutes after the call? 2 quick minutes after the call, Chris?
Sure.
2 minutes. Even a minute.
You want to give me a call on myself?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good.
Sounds good.
Thank you, everybody.
Chris Vega, thank you. Board,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Take
Till next
care.
time.
Be well.
Bye-bye.
Take care.